If you've been wanting to color block with dip powder on your short natural nails, then this one's going to be for you. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. I have gotten a bunch of requests for some color blocking, so we are going to jump into that. It is so much easier than you thought. At first, I was really afraid to try color blocking. I thought there is no way I'm ever going to be able to figure out how to do this, but let me show you a bunch of tips and tricks, so stay tuned. On my natural nails, I have a thin layer of builder gel, and then I have peel base down and a layer of dip base. If you're using peel base before you do color blocking, you want to make sure you either do a layer of dip base down that's fully dried, or you do a layer of clear dip powder that's fully dried. That's going to keep the tape from pulling up the peel base that's on your nails. Now, if you're doing this on your natural nails, then you don't need to worry about that. So I have this really thin masking tape that I found on Amazon. It's actually just like, it's a nail tape. And I got that and thought, let me try putting it in the middle of my nail to do some fun, easy color blocking. So when I'm pressing down the tape for the color blocking, I don't press down super hard since I have peel base underneath that layer of dip base. I just make sure that it's pressed down a little bit firmer at the back of my nail where the cuticle line is. I press it down enough that it sticks, but not so much that like I literally can't pull it up. When you're applying your dip base on the sides of your nails, you want to make sure that you're really careful that you don't get dip base over the line of the tape. And the reason this really helps is because when you pull it up, it's not going to yank up any of the dip color that's on the sides. So I try to be really careful in this part and very gently go through and put the dip base in the sides before I pour the dip powder over. It does help if you do your solid colors first, and then we're gonna go through and activate them. The reason I like doing the solid colors first is I'm typically pretty messy and tend to get dip powder like all over the place. When I start and do the solid or shimmer dip powder first, that just allows me to make sure that I'm not gonna get any glitter into my solid or shimmer color. And that's why I went through and activated as well before I went and very gently pulled up the tape. So I like to do whatever nail I'm color blocking first. This way the activator has a chance to dry, so I can go through if I need to with a little nail file or something and make sure that my lines are really straight before moving to the other part of the color block. And I was color blocking with a glitter dip powder, a reflective glitter dip powder, a fine reflective glitter dip powder. I can't talk today. I keep saying the wrong word, sorry. So first I went through and I did all the gray shimmer on all my nails so that my color block nail would have a chance to dry. And this gray, it's actually an Ooosie from OG Dip Powder. The Oopsies, people also call them Yippies because they're just colors that most likely the supplies were discontinued for. So I typically try not to use those for videos, but I just really love this color. And if you're looking for ones like it, there's also another color from OG Dip Powder that's similar. It's called Firework. It just doesn't have the shimmer in it. So when I'm dipping my short nails, I like to make sure that I really apply the base thinly. I don't want my nails to be super thick when they're this short, so I'm very careful about applying the base thinly and not flooding my cuticles. I also like to cap the edges on some of my dips with the dip base so that the color gets a little bit on the edges of my nails as well and not just over my entire nail. I like to wear my manis about 4 to 6 days, depending on like how much time I have going on that week. So if you use peel base and want to wear your manis a little bit longer, I've noticed for me that capping the edge of my nail just makes them last a little bit longer with the peel base on. Once I'm finished dipping all of my nails, then I can go through and add the clear dip powder. And if you guys are anything like me and you're a messy dipper, it's definitely nice to add the clear dip powder on all of your solid or shimmer nails before you go with the glitter. This way you're not going to accidentally get glitter all over your solids or shimmers. And I like to go through not only add the clear, but then also activate. That's just protecting them for when I make a mess inevitably with the glitter dip powder, because pretty much if you've seen any of my videos, you know that there's really like no video that goes by that I don't spill at least a little bit of something. So it's very rare that I don't get at least some dip powder like all over my area where I'm working doing my nails. So clear dip powder is an absolute must as the last dip, and then activating them before I start in with the glitter. You can pour over your clear dip powder or dip your nail into it. I like to keep separate clears for glitters, shimmers, and solids because I'm pretty messy. I tend to get the shimmers and the glitters stuck everywhere in the clear dip powder. And once in a while, I'll go through and clean out my clear dip powder. You can strain it with like some kind of little mesh bag. There's almond milk bags or nut milk bags that I found on Amazon. Just get like the smallest millimeter, and that's how you then can go through and just strain your clear dip powder through to clean it. Now we're gonna jump into the gorgeous glitter that I'm using, this fine reflective glitter. It's called Being Accountable Matters. In the beginning of the video, I showed a pink one, but when I got time to do the glitter, I was like looking at the pink and I thought, I really want something that's a light purple. So I grabbed this other one instead. The pink one at the beginning was a similar one to this purple, just a pink color instead of purple fine reflective glitter. When you're working on the color block part of your mani that you need to apply the glitter, you want to make sure that you don't have any dip base on the sides of your nail where the other colors are. So you saw me there. I went through with a wooden orange wood stick and wiped off any of the dip base that I accidentally got over top of the color block lines and onto the shimmer color. I have to be really, really careful with that. I sometimes try to turn my dip base brush like to the side. So instead of having it flat that it would, spread out more, you like kind of turn it to the side just to get a little bit on that middle. And then when you're doing the second dip, you really don't have to fill it in as much. Like if you got a really good base on your first dip, which I did, then I knew that I wouldn't have to go crazy adding base on my second dip, that just a little bit more base would pick up enough of the glitter that it would give it that beautiful color blocked effect that I wouldn't have to worry about it being so thick. And then I do the same thing as I did on the first layer. I go in with my wooden orange wood stick and really try to make sure that I'm wiping off any of the dip on the sides that got glitter stuck to it, so that when I go to add my clear dip powder over and finish up my mani, that none of my glitter is onto my solid sides, which that's a huge part of the reason why I like to go through and activate it first, even though I typically don't activate until after I put clear dip powder on. But you don't want to work so hard on your color block mani and then have some glitters get over on the solid or shimmer side. Now, that being said, I still had a couple stray glitters on my shimmer, but I just went with it because by the time I realized they were there, I think it was just from pouring the clear powder over and not actually from me contaminating it. So that to me says like, okay, it's definitely time to clean out your clear dip powder again. When you're working with a fine reflective glitter, you want to make sure that you pour it into some kind of little dip cup or a cupcake liner. If you don't have any dip cups, it'll really help you to shake up the powder and get all the good reflective pieces up to the top. And I always make sure that I lay my nail flat and I can lay my nail right into it and get the really good coverage for like the most possible reflection of those glitters that you can. Once all of my other nails are dry, then I can go in with my clear dip powder. And when you're doing the clear dip powder over top of your color block nail, you want to really make sure that the dip base is fully soaked up by the clear dip powder. That's going to help when you're filing and shaping that you don't accidentally file into the color block and mess up like where your nice lines are. If you're watching this video and thinking, Nicole, I am so not ready to color block, I'm still struggling with my basic dip mani, make sure you check out the link in the first pinned comment. It has my ultimate Dip Nails 101 guide linked there. It's everything you need from prep to application to removal in over 45 pages, absolutely no gatekeeping. Since I knew that I really need to clean out my clear glitter, I didn't even bother to pour it over for this mani. I just dipped my nail right into it because I thought, it's too late. This clear is already so full of glitters. I'm just gonna dip my nail into it and we'll clean it the next time. I'm gonna have to make sure that I make a video for everybody to show you how I clean the clear dip powder. When I'm doing clear dip powder, especially over any kind of glitter, I like to make sure that the dip base is really soaked up. So not just on my color block nail, but also on my glitter nails. That's gonna also help when you're buffing and shaping, if your clear is really soaked up like that, you're not going to accidentally file into the glitter. If you've ever accidentally filed into glitter, you know that it turns like a kind of a silver color when you file into it too hard. So you definitely don't want to do that after you've worked so hard to get your glitter applied nicely as well. And whenever I am dipping clear powder over, I also make sure that I cap my edges so that the clear fully encapsulates everywhere, so I don't have any like weird spots without any powder after I like shape up my nails. Then you can go through and brush off the excess dip powder and activate your nails, and then you can do your buffing and shaping once the activator has fully hardened them. So the way to know if your activator has totally hardened your nails is to tap on them, and if it makes like a clicking sound, then you know, okay, they're ready to go. You all rarely see me do my buffing and shaping on camera, and that is because when I'm trying to get it done, I usually have to put my nails a lot closer to my face to see if I'm doing it like where I want to, that I don't over buff or over file or something. So I tend to go out of the frame of where I'm filming, and that's why you rarely see it, but I specifically have videos for that. I'll make sure I link them at the end. You can see right here that my nails are insanely dry. So my skin is insanely dry. My skin is so dry right now during the winter, so whenever I use isopropyl alcohol, it tends to make my nails like this weird whitish color, which is super not aesthetic. You know, everybody loves that aesthetic crap, but I'm gonna keep it real. My nails don't always look nice and aesthetic when I'm doing them. Actually, they pretty much never do, but I'm still going to show you how I top coat. Make sure you follow the instructions for the top coat timing on whatever dip liquids you're using. The top coat timing tends to be a little bit different between brands. So for OG dip powder, I apply heavy activator on 5 nails. By the time I get to my pinky, I count to 10, then go back to the first nail in 2 to 3 quick even strokes, go from thumb to pinky, and then go back from thumb to pinky doing the second layer right away. Now, if you're still struggling with shaping, filing, and getting beautiful cuticle lines, make sure you check out this next video where I will help you get beautiful cuticle lines. Thanks for joining me today, nail crew.